Good morning, Year 6, and welcome to Monday, the 8th of February's literacy lesson. Thank you so much for your feedback on Friday. I saw some terrific Shakespearean insults and still giggling about them now. And I'm sure that Shakespeare would have been incredibly proud if he'd have thought of your ideas too. Well done to Reese and Harvey especially, and also to Tristan, who had a cracking go in school too. So it's Monday and we've got the start of a new week and some new activities. So behind me is your new word list. They are on Edshed, they're also on Letterjoin, and they have been sent over on Marvellous Me too. So I did say that last week when we were looking at shull that there was more than one way of spelling the suffix ending, and it depended on what preceded the suffix ending as to which suffix version of the spelling you used. So last week we found out that CIAL was used for shull if there was a vowel A-E-I-O-U in front of the suffix ending. And today our rule tells us behind me that if the word ends in a consonant, so any word that isn't A-E-I-O-U, the suffix added is T-I-A-L, shull but spelt T-I-A-L. So what you are going to do is in a moment, you're going to get your purple book. You're going to put the date, Monday, 8th of February 2021. You're going to put, can I explain my spelling rule? You are going to write your spellings down, and then you are going to look where the TIAL suffix appears, and in front of it should be a consonant if it is following the rule. So find the consonants, please. Okay, pause the video, off you go. Okay, Year 6. Hopefully you've done really well with those. Now, we are practicing at the moment the different versions of cursive handwriting script that perhaps we haven't used before. And last week we revisited the Fs, and we had a little few issues with double F, but we've sorted those out. Well, I know that I'm a bit guilty of this, is that I keep slipping back into the rounded W, not the pointed version. And I've spotted that some of you have when you've been sending me some feedback. So we're going to really get to grips with this W and have another little practice of it. So what we're going to do is underneath your spelling that you've just done, you're going to leave a line, you're going to put, can I practice my handwriting? And then you're going to have a little go at these. So I'm going to show you first of all, but then I want you to do 2 lines of each, please. Okay, so watch what I'm doing. Then you're going to pause your video, put the learning question, and then have a go 2 lines of each. All right, here we go. So I'll lead into my pointed W, into my H, and then EN. Okay, notice it's pointed. Allowance into my A, tall L's, O, W, into my A, N, C, E. Notice that the lowercase letters, same height. Okay, I'm going to just move that up slightly. Okay, if it'll let me. There it is. Okay, waking up. Right, okay. W-A-I-T-I-N-G. So we've got waiting there. Okay, and again, you wait till the end and you then dot your I's and cross your T's. You have to finish the word first. Then we've got Y's. Again, wait till the end before you dot. And then finally, we've got twisted. I'm going to scroll the board up. Nice tall T, pointed W, I-S-T-E-D. And then right at the end, you can do your dotting. Okay? So, pause the video, off you go. Right, Year 6. It's going to be slightly different this week because we're going to sort of do bits of writing because it's a long time since we've really focused on some writing skills. And we're also going to do comprehension in between. But today we're going to start to have a little look at some figurative language. Okay, we're starting off nice and easy because you do know these inside out, and I'm sure you're going to do a terrific job with the work today. So it says, can I use figurative language for effect? So figurative language are those things such as metaphors, similes, personification, and then onomatopoeia, alliteration, all of those things that a writer will use so that it adds some drama, some colour to the text. So we've got a little starter activity. It's actually from your word power book. And what you've got is you have got some metaphors that you're going to be creating. You've got some ideas listed here. So you've got some nouns, you've got some phrases, and what you're going to do is put those ideas together and you're going to create some metaphors using those ideas that you've been given. So you've got a modelled one there. My sister is an angel at school. All right. I'm going to use a different one with sister just to show you what I mean. So we've got, I'm going to use the word live wire and on the pitch. And live wire means, full of energy, all right, zipping around. So she'd be very difficult to mark on the mugger. All right, so here we go. So I'm going to put my sister is a live wire on the extend the page. Okay, on the pitch. I'm going to put pitch down here. Oops. Okay, so my sister is a live wire on the pitch. Okay, so I've got a metaphor going on. Now remember, a metaphor is where you describe something that as if it's something else. So you're not comparing it, you're saying it is something else. So my sister, we're not saying she is like a live wire on the pitch. That would be a simile. We're saying she is a live wire on the pitch. So that's the difference with a metaphor. Okay? So you are going to go back to those ideas that are on the screen. You're going to pause the video and you're going to have a go, see if you can use those ideas and go to town, create me some fantastic metaphors. All right, pause the video, off you go. Right, okay. Hopefully you've come up with some fantastic ideas. Now we're going to use our brand new book today in literacy, and as I said, we're going to be doing some writing. So you will have received your Key Stage 2 writing, and you're going to have a little look at page 4 for me. Okay, and those of you who are eagle-eyed will spot at the bottom of page 4 this picture, and we're actually going to be using that particular idea that's on the page to create a little bit of a story, but we're going to do it in little sections, and we're going to make sure that we're using some really good technical ideas to make our writing as interesting as possible for those people who are reading it. So as I said, we're going to look at some figurative language. So you will notice on the board behind me, it says similes, metaphors, personification, and show, not tell. And so what we're going to do is look at the picture, and then you are going to come up with 3 similes, 3 metaphors, 3 ideas for personification, and 1 show, not tell. Now remember, a simile is when you compare 2 things, and we find words like as or like. So you might say that the water is as cold as ice. Okay, you're comparing it. Metaphors we've just done in our starter, so you should be okay with those. Personification is where you give something that isn't alive human qualities or emotions or ideas. Okay, so you talk about trees dancing in the breeze. They don't dance, okay, the wind's blowing them, but it just gives it that that image that makes it more interesting for your reader. And then show not tell, it's where you're giving me hints about what's going on. You're not telling me what I should be thinking. You're not telling me what I should be feeling. You're making me work for it as a reader. Remember, we had in our comprehension last week, C.S. Lewis was giving some advice to one of his fans and saying you've got to make you've got to make your reader work. And that's what show not tell does. You're not giving us everything. You've got to make us work, use our imaginations. So we've got this beautiful scene. We've got water tumbling over some rocks that are hidden back there with some beautiful trees. You've got lovely shades of green and various different types of leaves and vegetation that are growing. You've got the sunlight, really sparkling off the water, and you've got this water tumbling over some algae covered rocks, okay, that are and then going either into a pool down here or maybe carrying on and going into a river and eventually into the sea. So a beautiful image, and there's lots of things to, as a writer, to get your teeth stuck into. So let's have a little look then at some ideas. So I'm going to model a simile, a metaphor, personification, and show not tell. And then you're going to have a little go at doing 3 of each, apart from one show not tell at the bottom. All right, let's have a little go then. So I'm going to get the next board up, and I'm going to type my ideas because I'm probably going to be quicker typing them than writing them down. Okay, so here we go. Here is my simile to start off with. And I'm not going to make it boring, so I'm going to start with gushing over the rocks. So, we've got prepositional phrase here, gushing over the rocks. Okay. The water was as cold as a block of ice. Okay, so we've got, it's a bit, I'm making you sort of, more interesting. Not the water was as cold as a block of ice. We're year 6, we can think of a really good opener, okay, to our sentence. So gushing over the rocks, all right? So let's have a look at my metaphor then. So my metaphor, I'm going to have situated in the centre of the island. So I'm saying that where this is an island. And again, prepositional phrase, situated in the centre of the island, the forest was a sea of green. Okay, so situated in the centre of the island, the forest was a sea of green. Right, so moving up, so you can see the difference between the simile and the metaphor. Simile, I'm comparing it. The metaphor, I'm saying it is that. Okay, so then I'm going to have a little look at my personification. So here we go. As if manipulated, that means, moved. Okay, as if manipulated by unseen hands. All right, the leaves danced beside the rippling water. Ooh, can't spell. Water. Okay, so as if manipulated by unseen hands, the leaves danced beside the rippling water. Leaves don't dance, it's the wind that's blowing them, but I'm giving it like a human characteristic. So there's my personification there. All right, I'm giving it a human quality. Leaves do not dance, okay, but in mine they are. Okay, so finally my show not tell. So I'm going to put even the leaves desperately tried to dip their tips. The top of the leaf is called a tip. Dip their tips to quench. That means to try and satisfy their. Oh, I spotted something there. To quench their thirst. And Mrs. Heavey, you need a gap there. I know that Tristan, you'd be screaming at me, Mrs. Heavey. You've not got a gap there. And you've not put a space. Okay, so here we go. So even the leaves desperately tried to dip their tips to quench their thirst. All right. So I'm telling you that it's really hot there. So it's so hot that even the leaves are trying to get into the water. Okay, and I could have put to try to dip their tips in the water. I could have put to make it, to quench their thirst. But I'm still making it work because I've not put in the water there. I'm getting you to use your imagination to see them dipping them in the water. Okay, so here's my show not tell. So if I go back to the board, I'll show you those again first. Okay, just so you're clear. So at the start, I had my simile, so gushing over the rocks. So think about your openers. I don't want the water was as cold as ice. Okay, the forest was a sea of green. Let's think about those openers as well. All right. So gushing over the rocks, the water was as cold as a block of ice. Situated in the centre of the island, the forest was a sea of green. As if that's my metaphor there. Okay, so I'm saying it is a sea of green. Everywhere else, perhaps there's a different colour. It might be, a beach. But there, I've got a sea of green in the middle. So it gets the idea. Oh, it's very, very green there. As if manipulated by unseen hands, the leaves danced beside the rippling water, and then even the leaves desperately tried to dip their tips to quench their thirst. So here is my personification. Leaves don't dance. I'm giving you that idea that they are, but what is happening is really the wind's blowing them. So it looks like they're sort of dancing. And then even the leaves desperately tried to dip their tips to quench their thirst. So it's so hot that even the leaves are trying to get into the water. Okay, so back to the board here. You are going to leave a line underneath your beautiful handwriting work and your fantastic metaphor work that you've done already this morning. And you're going to create underneath the learning question, which is, can I use figurative language for effect? You are going to create 3 similes, 3 metaphors, 3 ideas for personification, and 1 show not tell idea about this image. I really look forward to seeing what you come up with. Okay, Year 6, pause the video, have a go, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.